Welcome in, everybody, to the show. This is AM Nation Pod. It's Tuesday, which means it's one of our sport episodes. We got a lot to get into NFL-wise today, so if you're here for BK taking you to the pitch, I'm sorry. He'll get that back to you next Tuesday. This episode, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, a.k.a. the big game, and we're going to talk about some of the NFL news going around, including are the Bears going to pull the trigger on Carson Wentz, and our recap of what we thought was going to happen at the beginning of the season. So, but first and foremost, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at AM Nation Pod. YouTube, search Amalgamation Nation and hit that sub button. You can listen to us on podcast platforms of choice, such as Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts, etc. You can also get involved in the show. Leave a voicemail or text the show at 815-556-9089. That is 815-556-9089. You can find us on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights right here on twitch.tv/UndeadRedBull. Make sure you follow and give David a sub. If you have Amazon Prime, you do get one free sub a month, so make sure you do that. And let's see what else. Thursday we will be back with a gaming show, 8 p.m. Central Time. And then I didn't tell Junior this, but I told Mike, so I'll tell him, I guess, on Thursday. If you're listening, Junior, there you go. Sunday we are recording a Weebisode, so we'll have that out for you on Monday. Of course, I'm the anime watching, booze cruising, Olivia Munn's liking, John Cena's following, hostess with the mostest himself, Ryan Green Machine Ebner. And today, for the icebreaker question, because I didn't have one on Thursday's episode. I don't even know if I had one on Tuesdays, to be honest with you. I did think of one today. So, going around right now, right, FX dropped their hashtag Free Britney documentary, right, about Britney Spears. It's fantastic. If you haven't watched it, you should. It's not fantastic, like, it's great, it's sad, obviously, but you should check that out. But my question today, because I was talking to BK earlier, and I didn't know that BK was a huge 2000s pop guy like me. I didn't know, dude. I didn't know. So my question is here for you, after I introduce each one of you. What is your favorite, like, go-to, either a pop artist or pop band? Your choice, right? It could be a boy band or it could be a pop singer. Your choice. For me, of course, it is Britney Spears. She is my absolute bona fide favorite. So many bangers. I listened to that earlier when I jumped onto the stream. The BK's like, was that Britney? And I was like, sure was. It's Britney, bitch. Fuck yeah. So, of course, joining me today from North Carolina, Brendan BK Kennerly. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Feeling good. My favorite 90s era pop group, easily, Backstreet Boys, BSB. I remember when they first came out, and I always like to fall asleep with like a little sound. Like, now that I'm older, I just keep a fan on. But then I would put on their CD.
Oh.
I would fall asleep listening to that.
Oh, shit. Damn, I felt like that'd be loud, bro.
No, I don't turn it up loud. Like, you just kind of have it, like, just so barely you can kind of hear it, and then fall asleep that way.
Let BSB put you to sleep, bro.
Yeah, man.
Fuck yeah.
Nothing like 5 dudes singing to you that really put you to sleep.
Everybody. He's just like, oh, BK's like, yeah, this is great. Fuck yeah, I love it. I love me some Backstreet Boys. Also joining us today, Petey Tahiti Argus. Pete, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Doing great, sir. Doing great. What is your pop boy band or singer that your go-to?
Well, I guess I'm gonna go with BK's rival. I'll go with NSYNC. Was mine growing up. So I mean, I'm a huge fan. Definitely a huge fanboy of Justin Timberlake. So yeah, I'm going in.
Like him right now, you little prick.
Whatever. Hey, if I'm dressing like JT, I'm doing something right. So I would take that as a compliment. So thank you, BK.
I love that this is a thing. I didn't think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, because when I sat down, you're like, nice outfit, bro. And I'm like, what's he talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, my camera's on. Yeah, this is my podcast. I used to dress up in full jeans and everything before a show, and now I don't do that as often. It is what it is, bro. I'm comfy.
Well, it's not like I'm all dressed up. I mean, I still have like sweatpants on.
Oh.
Like, it's not like,
I
just have a hoodie on.
Oh.
He's doing like the network TV thing where he's just like, he's looking like he's all done up here, but he's just like wearing boxers. Yeah, just wearing boxers underneath. He's got some sliders on. Yeah.
Yeah, like
when I got my slippers on.
I'd get
nice.
I'd go on nights and I'd always make sure at least the top was good. That was it. Like, it's fine. I wear shorts or whatever underneath, but I always made sure my top was, like, good to go. I don't know why, but it still did it anyway. And rounding out the quartet today from twitch.tv/UndeadRebel. David, how are you, sir?
Doing pretty good. How's everyone else?
Oh, dude, peachy keen, bro. Peachy keen. Do you have a favorite your go-to pop artist or band, dude?
Does Blink-182 fall in that category?
I mean, it was on the 2000s list on the thing, but I mean, I wouldn't. It's pop punk. Call it pop punk.
Then yes, then that would be it because I didn't really listen to much of the other stuff.
Damn, bro.
Sorry. I know it, but it's not like,
okay.
oh my god, let me watch
He's
that.
honest.
Yeah, you are honest. That's
I gotta
honest.
be honest.
That's good. That's good.
I'd be like, oh shit, this is on TRL #1 countdown. Fuck.
It's like, bro, I'm so tired of Oops, I Did It Again, bro. I'm so tired of it.
Dude, that's what you want to talk about.
That's all I used to
Actually,
watch,
everyone
man.
there knows about that TRL. That's
yeah,
what I'm
Total
talking
Request
about.
Live with Carson Daly. Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
he was the VJ still when I started watching. Like that was the man.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson was on there all the time. Limp Bizkit, all
Everybody,
that stuff.
everybody. It was the best thing.
It was so
was.
good.
It sure was.
But MTV was
Daily.
good.
MTV was dope, dude. Damn, that was cool. Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
ask this question on Thursday, but then I was like, Mike and Junior. Well, Mike's not gonna be here Thursday. Spoiler alert. But Thursday, I was like, Junior's gonna be like, what? I'm like, all right, bro. Sorry. He'd be like, does fucking Disturbed count, bro? No, that's too much. That's too much for me. Damn. Well, in case everybody didn't know, the NFL season came to an end this past Sunday, and it's always weird, right? Like the Monday after the Super Bowl, it should be a holiday. You shouldn't have to go to work. You shouldn't. You're mourning. You're mourning that day because the season is over. Everyone's just kind of like, huh, what do I do? Like basketball's still kind of boring right now because the games don't matter as much. It feels like baseball hasn't started yet. I mean, yeah, hockey's on, but hockey's on. So it's a little rough. So it is coming to an end. It was kind of sad, but of course it was a game that I thought was all right. Definitely really one that I won't remember a whole ton of when it's all said and done. But before we get into that, I want to talk about some of the news going around. First and foremost, is Carson Wentz gonna be a Bear? I am very terrified that the Chicago Bears are gonna overpay for Carson Wentz. We've been hearing reports that the Eagles are looking for a Stafford-like package. Mike K of NJ.com reported that the Bears are growing, quote, impatient with the Eagles, and they feel like the Eagles have overvalued Wentz. David, as a fellow Bears fan, do you want the Chicago Bears to get Carson Wentz?
I just want to stipulate I'm only a Bears fan until I see what happens so far, and then I'm going to denounce my fanship. Just an FYI. They've already fucked it up with the head coach and the GM for the next year. So I'm just throwing that out there. But since I haven't thrown that in there yet, there's been a lot of reports, and there's also been a lot of reports saying that it's all fake too. So even had Tyreek Cohen even say that, hey, I reached out to the GM and head coach, and this is all fucking bullshit, basically.
Because he's getting traded too.
Yeah. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I wouldn't mind taking Wentz. It depends on what's the value, and his value can't be too high because you benched him. So Philly basically shot in the foot by benching him. You can't be like, oh, he's a Matthew Stafford caliber, but yet he got beat out by our backup, even though you drafted him. So you can't expect that value if you don't see the value in him neither. That's the rough part there. So I think because of that, you didn't see a deal happen this weekend. Even though there was so much reports that the Colts and the Bears were probably pushing, I think they didn't. I think the Eagles did not get that Stafford-like package, and they just kept holding out. And now I think by holding, it's going to hurt their value more. And the Bears may be like, you know what? Maybe we heard some of the fans' Twitter report, and we're like, you know what? This isn't right. We're just going to back off. But the best tweet that I saw, right? Trading for Carson Wentz was like trading up for Mitch Trubisky in the second round when Deshaun Watson's available to be traded for.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best thing. It's like, so basically, you're going to trade away to get Wentz, but you could do the exact same thing to get Watson when he's available.
That's the thing right now is with the Bears really is that with the options on the table, one, if like I'm not in this camp of where I'm like, oh man, boo, Carson Wentz, fuck him. Like I'm not in that camp. I'm more of the camp of I like Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz has a high ceiling. We've seen glimpses of it, especially in that year the Eagles went to the Super Bowl until he got hurt. I just think he needs a line. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely needs a line.
Name me a healthy fucking wide receiver from Philly in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it took a while for Jalen Reagor was hurt. Alshon Jeffrey was hurt.
He's just been hurt a bunch. Deshaun Jackson's been hurt a bunch.
Yeah.
Jackson played like one game last year or this year and was hurt the rest of the season. I was like, what?
All he had was Ertz. That was it.
Travis Fulgham, I think, at some point.
Well,
and then Goddard a little bit there towards coming on this year.
So I'm not as a Bears fan. I'm not against getting Carson Wentz. It's just going to depend what it takes. I mean, if you're going to tell me you're going to trade this year's first, right, the 20th pick, but in return you're getting the Eagles' second, which is the 37th pick, I'm not going to be that upset about it then because I don't think you're losing as much then at that point. For Bears fans that are like, well, just draft a quarterback. I'm going to be honest. Do you want this regime that's still in charge to do that? To orchestrate that? And the answer to me is no. I don't really trust the evaluating of Ryan Pace when it comes to the quarterback position. Remember, that is the man that traded up to get Mitch Trubisky. So, we'll see. Right now, it's more of I'm not upset, and I don't think I would denounce the Bears necessarily, but I definitely need to see what the package would be in return. Honorary Bears fan BK, what are your thoughts on the potential of the Bears paying out for Carson Wentz?
The Eagles trying to get a Stafford-like package doesn't make a lot of sense because the Rams had to give up so much to get Stafford is because they were giving that atrocious contract to the Lions. And so that's why they're like, we have to make it worth it. That's why the extra first-round picks and all that. If you're the Eagles, you're trading away Wentz, who was benched, and he has the atrocious contract. So they have to include first-round picks, in my opinion. I don't know why they're viewing it the other way around. Yeah, he's been good, but I still think he can be good, but them even thinking that it's remotely possible to get a Stafford-like deal, it's just bonkers. It's just like what you were hearing out of the Texans camp. It just doesn't seem like the Texans are going to trade Watson off, which is going to help the Eagles because teams are going to be more QB needy because I don't think Watson's going anywhere. The Texans are just determined to make that work come hell or high water, which will just make the rest of this offseason, beginning of next season, just crazy. But just, I don't know, Bill O'Brien must be over there in Philadelphia just getting drunk and just saying things in the hallway, just getting people, all rattled. I don't know.
I just love it. Always has to be Bill O'Brien. It's just every time. Petey, how do you feel, man? The Bears looking at Carson Wentz.
I mean, I'm looking at it from a perspective from the Eagles. Just what a dumpster fire! This whole entire thing. I mean, and obviously it started with drafting Hurts. That you had your fractured relationship with Doug Peterson end of the year, and then the thing that came out was the reason why we're moving on from Peterson is because we want Wentz to be our quarterback, and that was the divide or whatever, and that was the reason. And then Peterson's the one who drafted Hurts. Okay, so that was the initial reports. And then now all of a sudden the Eagles just have a new quarterback coach who happens to be close friends with Jalen Hurts. So you literally bring in a guy that's supposed to be, here for Jalen. And then you look at Wentz, it's just now we're going to deal Wentz. It just doesn't make any sense to me. The whole Peterson breakup really was stupid. I mean, there's so much more, I think, underlying that we just don't know about what happened there. But I mean, for the Bears, yeah, it's better. I guess. I think Wentz makes the most sense in Indy. Mm-hmm. Going back with Frank Reich, you have a complete team there in Indy. He doesn't have to be the guy. He just has to do a couple, little plays. He's got a great defense, great offensive line. So that would be the best move. I just don't know with the Bears, for him. Because, mobility-wise, him and Trubisky, probably about the same.
Yep.
But then if you think about it, Trubisky doesn't turn the ball over as much as Wentz did. So because Wentz likes to extend plays, hold the ball forever. From the Bears' perspective, yeah, I'm not I mean, I'm not selling the farm for him. I mean, and what's going to be the market for Trubisky if you're the Bears? Like, if you think about it from Mitch's perspective, Mitch could probably come here on a 1 or 2 year deal if you're the Bears. Why don't you just try that? I would rather try that out. Draft and develop maybe a dude in like the 3rd or 4th round and just go from there. That's what I would do if I'm the Bears. But I don't know. I mean, this is Ryan Pace. So who knows what the heck that guy's doing?
Right.
We don't know.
100%. Ryan Pace doesn't even know what he's doing. No one knows. Nobody right now knows what's going on with the Bears. So that's going to be really interesting to see as this develops. I mean, I knew for a fact we weren't going to get anything over the weekend because there's no way the NFL was going to let anything like that happen during Super Bowl weekend. There's just no way. But will we hear something this week? I don't know. This might be a draw. Play out to BK's point. There are a lot of quarterbacks on the market, including possibly Russell Wilson. I don't know. We're hearing reports coming out that Russell's unhappy, doesn't like the direction Seattle's going. He's on the Dan Patrick Show talking about how players should be a little bit more involved when it comes to team decision making. Right? I mean, the NFL players right now are definitely looking at NBA players and being like, why can't we get that? Like, why can't we have more say? And in certain cases, I get it, right? Like Russell Wilson is one of those cases. Aaron Rodgers is one of those cases. Like Patrick Mahomes, those guys, Tom Brady. When you're a quarterback and you're Deshaun Watson, you're a star quarterback, you should kind of have some say. Now you could pull a trigger like Mahomes, who said, went to the team and said, hey, we want get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and then it wasn't so great this year. That's okay. It happens, right? Or you could be Brady and be like, hey, I want to play with Gronk, and then Tampa's like, okay, sir, whatever you want, and that ended up paying out for them obviously this year in the end. But do you believe, Pete, that Russell Wilson could be on his way out of Seattle?
No chance. No chance he gets traded. Even though the man has 0 MVP votes, and then that's always a fun narrative that always gets brought up. No, I don't think he's getting traded. Yeah, he's been hit a lot. And yeah, it comes from a perspective of like they didn't have the greatest offensive line when he was first there, and they basically built their team around their defense, and that's in their offensive line. They kind of just played around with because Russell is so athletic that was just something they didn't really use. And you see, and this is why he's always struggled against the Rams. It's because the Rams have Aaron Donald, they have a great front four, and that's why they've always struggled. Like when it comes to that, and he is right. I mean, over his I think his entire career, he's been sacked the most. So he is right from that perspective, but I don't know if this is just because, I mean, they did move on from Schottenheimer, so maybe he's like, that was like, I think he's had him as an offensive coordinator for years. So maybe this is just him being kind of angry about that. No, I don't think they're trading him. He's their franchise. They don't have, anything behind him. I mean, I think, what's their backup? Geno Smith? Come on. There's no way. There's no way, Seattle's going to Geno. So, no, I just think I think this is just, them talking and Russell just kind of spilling this out there like, hey, maybe you should listen to me a little bit more.
Yes, in the NFL, they do such a great job of making you interested all off season long, like the whole time.
Yep.
I mean, we just started and we're already like, there's like 10 or 15 quarterbacks. We're like, I don't know. What are they going to do? BK, Russell Wilson is your boy. Is he leaving the Seattle Seahawks anytime soon?
I haven't muted. No, he's absolutely not. He just signed the big contract extension the other year. I mean, I think he just made like over $50 million last year. I mean, he's not going anywhere. I think he's just venting his frustration. But at the end of the day, he should also realize that Pete Carroll decided to pass in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, run the little slant pass there instead of running it with Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl when they should have ran it, had the best running back in the league at the time, but went to the young guy, Russell Wilson, threw a slant pass, and Russell Wilson completely just missed the pass. It was intercepted, and they lost the game. So the fact is, Seattle has invested a lot into Russell Wilson, and I get that he's frustrated. I think it's more just end of the year, like, I wanted more. I wanted the team to go further. Look, they just drafted DK Metcalf. He's doing great. Tyler Lockett has been pretty darn good as well. They haven't had the greatest of luck after Marshawn Lynch with running backs. It's just been a revolving carousel. Chris Carson's not bad, but then they originally drafted C.J. Prosise from Notre Dame a few years ago. Then they drafted the guy from San Diego State the other year. I can't remember his name
Was it
offhand.
Rashad Penny?
Yes, Rashad Penny. Yep, first round. They have struggled at running back and then as well as offensive line. I think once he just gets a little bit more offensive line help, just get a running back somewhere. It goes into the point where P2 put in the Discord chat earlier today, and I think Ryan, you maybe sent to me earlier as well about the total amount salary of the lead rusher for the team that won the Super Bowl, and it's I think the highest one was around $2 million. So like at the end of the day, your running back is not getting paid a lot, is not that focal to your team anymore, is because it is a pass happy league. So as long as you can just protect Russell, they'll be fine going forward, because I'll believe in Pete Carroll's ability to just put a cardboard cutout at safety and it's going to get a pick. And the thing is too, is like, I think people are doubting Pete Carroll a little bit. He's a great players coach. I think the whole Earl Thomas thing was, Earl was on the downslope. They kind of knew it, and that's why they didn't want to give him another big contract. And look, Earl Thomas played 1 year with the Ravens, got stiff-armed out of his mind by Derrick Henry, got like pushed through the earth all the way to China, and then he didn't even play this year. That was the crazy thing. People were like, "Oh, I can't believe the Ravens are dropping him." He wasn't picked back up. Earl Thomas did not play this year. So the Seahawks were absolutely smart. They were geniuses for it. So I believe in the Seahawks front office and Pete Carroll, like I said, a great players coach.
Yeah, 100%. David, do you think that Russell Wilson is going to leave the Seattle Seahawks?
I don't really think he will, right? Now, Pete had touched on it. I don't recall Seattle ever having an offensive line in the last, 8 years. Mm-hmm. I think it's non-existent, because I always, when I think of him, he's always running around out of the pocket, and that was why he was the main quarterback that won that job, and why they were able to excel, because he could move out of the pocket because that offensive line couldn't hold up. But if you want to talk about something crazy, right? Like, we don't know, but if he really wants out of Seattle, there could be some crazy talk of him being traded to Texas. Star quarterback for star quarterback, the value is almost equal. I'm sure Houston would be like, you know what, we'll take him. I'm sure Seattle would be like, yeah, we'll take him, and maybe a slight change of draft picks, because I'm pretty sure Watson's deal is a lot higher than Wilson's. I'm pretty sure it's close, but I know Watson's is higher. Highly doubt it's going to happen, but if Houston had to trade him and Wilson really wants out, that would probably be the ideal, because then both teams get another franchise quarterback back in return, and both quarterbacks get a new environment.
Boy, Russell gets the shit end of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he does.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, at least from his standpoint, if he goes to Houston, Russell's all about the faith. So, you got that going for him.
Yeah, 100%.
He's in the Bible Belt. Okay, yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
The taxes are less, so that's the plus. Like your money goes further.
Oh yeah, way more money.
You lose DK Metcalf, you're throwing to Brandon Cooks, not bad, but
And
Fuller back if he stops using the roids, but
doping up, baby. Oh yeah. It would be wild. I do think there's always been this almost push in the past of Russell Wilson to New York, to one of the New York teams, that that's where he's gonna go. I don't know if I want to go to either of those situations either. I don't know. I mean, maybe the Giants, maybe. But other than that, it's tough. I mean, I just think Russell Wilson, like Pete said, he's frustrated, and is just kind of voicing his thoughts. He's just like, hey, what the fuck? Somebody help me, please. Help me, just please. You know what I'm saying? Give me some help for the line. Yeah, they haven't had a line in years. Let's just please do something for Russell Wilson out there. He loves the Seahawks so much. Go Hawks, you know what I'm saying? He loves them, so give him some help. Sad news today. Former Chargers head coach Marty Schottenheimer passed away at the age of 77. He was dealing with Alzheimer's, they had said, for a little while now, and he passed away today. I saw the Washington Post in their article like
Oh,
took
God.
a jab at him for being like not good in the playoffs. I was like, come on, dude! Like he just passed away, you fucking assholes. Christ.
I expect nothing less of Wapo. Just like, let's just be honest.
Oh
Just-
my god. It's awful.
Like,
It was really sad. I was like, man, Marty Schottenheimer, one of those really good coaches, one of those coaches that has a really great coaching tree as well. So that was really great. But to just see like a lot of the former coaches, Dundee, Cower, and others talking about the impact Marty Schottenheimer had on them was pretty great. So yeah, he passed away. I believe it was actually yesterday on the 8th. With his family and everything, they said he passed away peacefully. So thoughts out and prayers out there, obviously, to the Schottenheimer family and loved ones as well. The weekend of the Super Bowl is always one of my favorites because of the Hall of Fame ceremony and all the awards and everything else. So to start it here, we do have Aaron Rodgers was named the MVP to nobody's surprise. Would have been our surprise at the beginning of the year, 2020, because I will say here, BK had Lamar Jackson winning the MVP. I had Christian McCaffrey winning the MVP. And Pete and David had the second place man, Patrick Mahomes, winning the MVP. So they were the closest.
We were too far off.
Yeah, you were
bad.
close.
I like theirs.
No, yeah, wow. Listen, Christian McCaffrey got hurt, bro. It is what it is, And Lamar Jackson had to poop. Came back and tore it up after he pooped, though.
He should have pooped in week 1. He would have been great.
I got the over right on Lamar's like rushing yards per game.
You sure did. You sure did. Did you get the Metcalf prediction right? Well, yeah?
Oh, I haven't even.
You said he would be a top 10 wide receiver.
Top 10. Top 10.
I think you were probably
It's gonna be
close.
close.
Why you looking at
Yeah,
that?
that'd be close.
He's close to a top 10.
I'd
He's
have
not
to.
playing the Rams twice a year. He's probably top 10, but he plays the Rams twice a year, so his stats suck.
Dude, yeah,
for 2 games.
Jalen Ramsey's a fucking beast. Except when he plays Devontae Adams, all of a sudden he's not a beast no more. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Pete, your thoughts on your man Aaron Rodgers getting the MVP?
No, I mean, as a Packer fan, it was fantastic. I mean, he played awesome this year. I think it had a lot. Obviously, people are going to talk about him them drafting Jordan Love, him being motivated. I get it, but I think the main thing was it's the second year in his offense with Matt LaFleur. Also, the last time that Matt had an offense for 2 years, Matt Ryan actually won the MVP and tore it up, and then of course 28-3 happened in the Super Bowl. So. But Matt Ryan had a great year that year too. So I just think, second year in the system, really healthy offensive line for the most part this year, except for Bakhtiari, who obviously that was a big loss, that showed in the NFC Championship. But we talked about the weapons, and I've bitched and complained multiple times about the Packers getting more weapons besides Devontae. But when you got a good offensive line, you got good running backs. He was able to play fantastic this year. So, I'm just expecting another great year out of Rodgers here for next year. So
We should. I mean, Alan Lazard stepped up in a big way, and if for some reason the Packers do decide to get one more wide receiver, look out. Just because it's only going to get better here. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's not slowing down whatsoever. Your offensive line will be back. You've got a new defensive coordinator. The Packers are going to be that team to really look out for next year. And how do they take the loss to Tampa? Because they should come off pissed off, and that's always scary. BK, was he a top 10 wide receiver, sir?
I think he was on how you I didn't look up fantasy stats, essentially didn't look up the points, but so he was 7th in total receiving yards at 1,303, and he was 8th in receiving touchdowns at 10. He had those 1,300 yards on 83 receptions.
Stud. Yeah, I give it to
pretty
you.
good.
Yeah, I give it to you.
So I think he's safely top 10.
Proud of you. Proud of you on that one. Way to go. Way to go, man.
I can't pick games right, but I can get other just random dumb shit that's not.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you when we get here to our NFL 2020 predictions, BK, you are gonna be very pleasantly surprised. Did a great job. I don't know where this came from because I do watch you week to week in the picks, and I don't know where this came from, but you did it. Aaron Donald wins Defensive Player of the Year. J.J. Watt then chimes in for his brother T.J. I'm gonna tell you right now, what's fucked up about all that is T.J. played 2 less games than Aaron Donald and still was ahead of him in every stat. BK, your thoughts on Aaron Donald beating out TJ Watt?
So also with Aaron Donald, just saying up for Aaron Donald a little bit here is that Aaron Donald's an interior rushing lineman. There's a big difference between nose tackle / D tackle and a outside rusher, edge rusher, outside linebacker, D end, whatever you want to call it. There's a massive difference in terms of sack and tackles like for a loss. But watching them both play this year, I would actually almost have to lean to TJ Watt because I really think he carried that defense maybe slightly further than Donald did. And I know that sounds sacrilege, and especially with me as a Ravens fan, but like TJ Watt just really carried that team. And Donald did have Jalen Ramsey, who is just like not even an island. It's like just like a patch of dirt that you have to throw when you're going against. It's a patch of dirt. Like, so I almost slightly leaned to TJ Watt. So I'm not a Donald hater because I think he is a generational talent.
Of course, right? Yeah,
generational talent. But it's like the one year that Barkley won like the MVP right there in Jordan's like long string. It's like, you know, Barkley had a good year. We got to give it to him. And I think it's the same thing.
I'm by far, I'm not an Aaron Donald here. Aaron Donald is a stud. That is a generational talent. What he is able to do at a defensive tackle position is insane. But I do think it's kind of like when Trout doesn't win an MVP. And everybody's like, why? Why we gave it to this guy? Well, because for this instance, in this one sliver of a moment, this player was just a little bit ahead of Mike Trout. Just a little bit. I know it's hard to believe. David, your thoughts here on Aaron Donald getting the nod over TJ Watt?
I mean, it's tough, right? We all know Donald is probably the best player on defense, right? We know it, right? From the statistical standpoint, JJ Watt had better stats, right? Overall, you know what this reminds me of? It's like the 90s, right? Where we knew Jordan was basically the MVP every year, but they gave it to somebody else because they didn't want to give the award to the same player every year. They passed it around. This is his third out of the last 4 years. I mean, we all know he's the top player, but if JJ Watt had better stats, not like if he had, no, he had better stats. He should have been the defensive player of the year, right? We all know that Donald is great and amazing. He's probably number 1 or number 2, right, with JJ Watt, right? We got it. But from a stat perspective, the award shouldn't go to the same person every year, right? It should move, or that's just my point of view. It should at least go to JJ Watt this year.
TJ, not JJ. Yeah, JJ had a bad year. JJ had a bad year.
My bad.
I got you.
JJ,
because JJ came in because TJ didn't say anything. TJ, it happened, and TJ was just like, "Oh, all right, congrats to Aaron Donald." And JJ Watt was like, "Fuck that. That's my little brother. I got something to fucking say." And I was like, "Oh, wow, he's busy at home, worried about where the fuck he's gonna be traded to. Hopefully, Hey, bring him to the Bears, bro. Aaron Donald getting the nod over TJ Watt.
It's tough to basically compare him. As BK said, it's a different position, but Aaron Donald, think about it. The dude's like double team like almost every play, and like I know it's tougher, and this sucks for like TJ's perspective. Like it's tougher to double an end. I know you can do some chips and whatnot, but like Donald's like double team like every play. So yeah, I'm not surprised to give it to Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's probably the best player in football. Let's just take quarterbacks even out of it. Even put quarterbacks in, it doesn't matter. Aaron Donald's a freak.
Yes.
So I'm not surprised that he is. And if we look at like probably stats of like any other defensive tackle, like for any type of like sacks or pressures or anything like that, there's probably no one's close to him. Right. Aaron Donald and Ryan, you made a good comparison for Mike Trout because like Mike Trout's like so much better than like a lot of people, when it comes to his position, what he does for the Angels. And that's what Donald really does for the Rams. It does help when you got like a Pro Bowl corner, on the outside. That's a lockdown in Jalen Ramsey. But he was doing this before that. So I mean, think about it. The dude's gutting it out against the Packers in the divisional game with a core injury. What? Like the dude can barely even breathe, probably, and he's out there at least making some kind of effort. So no, I'm not surprised. I mean, it sucks for TJ. TJ to me would have to have like a remarkable season. Like he's got to have like 4 or 5 more sacks or something that's just like extraordinary. If it's only 2 sacks, and that's what we're talking about, an interior guy compared to TJ, I don't know. I'm not surprised by it. They should just rename it the Aaron Donald Award. I mean, the guy's he's just a tank. Like he's just a tank. I mean, it's unbelievable that he plays defensive tackle.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. That's a great point. He is an absolute stud and a beast of a man. I will tell you that. Chase Young and Justin Herbert win the Rookies of the Years. No surprise there, baby. Justin Herbert tore it up this year, so good on him. I think this would have been way more interesting if Burrow stayed healthy, obviously. Once he went down, I was like, yeah, all right, this is done. All right, Herbert's got that one. And Chase Young, I don't even know another defensive rookie that I could have even thought of off the top of my head that would have been in that conversation because of how good Chase Young was, instantly making an impact right away in his first year there for Washington. So that's pretty dope as well. And also, of course, another no-brainer. Alex Smith wins Comeback Player of the Year. Let's fucking go. Deserved it. Absolute beast of a man to be able to come back after all those surgeries, almost having to amputate his leg, and being able to come back and play was just unbelievable. The fact that he even took a snap blew my mind, and to see him going out there and playing, that was fantastic. So, of course, well-deserved for Alex Smith winning Comeback Player of the Year. And then the Coach of the Year, everything
Wait.
Oh, go ahead.
Hold on, Ryan. I don't want to cut you off, but I just wanted to make the point. He only got 49 of the 50, first place votes.
Who didn't vote for him?
Jackass voted for Ben Roethlisberger.
What a
are
piece
you
of shit.
serious? Ben got 1 vote. Somebody did not go for Alex Smith. Whoever that reporter is, you are a scumbag. You are a scumbag.
You know what?
That person.
On this, even though it's not NFL related, if you didn't vote for Ken Griffey to be the Hall of Fame unanimous, you're
Fuck
a
him.
fucking scumbag.
Yeah, you're a
That's
fucking
right.
scumbag.
That's right.
That's right. He taught a generation of kids how cool it was to turn their fucking hats backwards. Fuck that. Yeah, Pete. That's fucking right, man. Hey, that's a good point, Dave. Way to rile me up. That shit pisses me off.
It's probably the same reporter voted for both.
Fuck him. I think we got into
Same
this
dude.
when we talked about the Baseball Hall of Fame real quick, but I hate the vote. If you're going to go out there and you're just going to waste your fucking vote, then don't fucking vote. I hate this mysterious rule that we can't give 100%. Fuck you. If a player is undoubtedly a 100%er, let him fucking in. The Derek Jeters of the world, the Ken Griffeys of the world, the Mariano Rivera's, and so on and so on. Let him fucking in. Baseball's fucking lame. I can't wait till that's all we can talk about on here, because I can just tell you how fucking baseball rules are fucking lame. God, that pisses me off.
Sorry I started this.
Sorry.
I just saw it when Alex Smith and they didn't say unanimous, and it was 1 vote, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
See, I didn't see it. I just assumed it was a unanimous, but wow, someone voted for Ben, huh?
Yeah.
That's
They
rough.
should rename the award to the Alex Smith Award. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
If you're Goodell, just be like, hey, go to the owners, got a proposal. I think everyone's gonna sign off on this. I got the paperwork right here. We already got the statue.
You need 50 signatures, and you only got 49.
Fucking asshole, man.
It's the Roonies. It's the Roonies. The owners of the Steelers. It's them, and it's just everyone's just fuck you.
Could you imagine? Because everyone loves the Rooney so much, but they're the ones. They're yeah, no. Ben deserves it. Fucking Ben's the beast, man. You see how he came back from that fucked up elbow? Which again, don't get me wrong. In any other time, Big Ben probably would have been way more considered for that. The fact that he came back from Tommy John at his age and still performed, at a fairly high level at times for Pittsburgh. But Alex Smith shouldn't have even been on the fucking field. I said he was supposed to lose his fucking leg. And he somehow went through all those surgeries and that grueling process and got back on and didn't just take a snap. He played. He started. Fucking assholes, man.
First round draft pick. First round draft pick.
Yeah.
Like a year or so ago. Dwayne Haskins. Beat out that guy.
Dewey.
And Colt McCoy. Don't forget about him. Man. That's tough. That's tough. But then they announced... Oh, no. I'm sorry. The Coach of the Year. I almost skipped over that. My bad.
Skip over it.
I can't because I was really I was pulling for Ron Rivera, bro. I really was, because of obviously the situation surrounding him. But I get it. Coach Stefanski from the Cleveland Browns deserves it. Coach of the year, took the Browns to the playoffs. Took the Browns very, very far into the play, farther than they thought they would get into the playoffs. Pete, Cleveland pride there. No surprise.
Yeah,
Stefanski.
I mean, he definitely should have won it. Yeah, I mean, I understand the Rivera thing. I mean, obviously it's a fantastic story, but I mean, come on, they were under 500. Let's just look at the record.
That's why I understood.
I
understood.
Yeah, at least for Alex Smith, I mean, for him to play, was phenomenal. And then he was over 500. Okay, so he was actually winning, so it's not like they're just giving him an award because he played a game or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, it was between those two. I mean, that's really what it was between, was Rivera and Stefanski. But yeah, he did a fantastic job, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does this year. When, hey, guess what? Expectations now.
Right, 100%. Molly in the chat, Ryan hates the Browns. I do not hate the Browns, man. I don't hate the Browns. I want everyone to know that BK and I were the only ones to pick the Browns to beat the Chiefs, all right? We were wrong, but we did it. So I don't care. All right, I was actively rooting for them to beat the Chiefs. So it's fine. Listen, Ron Rivera went out there and beat cancer, and there's so much around it where I'm like, man, that's just so cool, and like Rivera strong and like all of that. But I understand. I get it. You're like you said, they didn't finish above 500. Teddy Bridgewater sucks, and it is, or I'm sorry, not Teddy Bridgewater.
I was like Teddy Bridgewater.
Sorry, Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins sucks. He had to go to Alex Smith, and I don't think they were even prepared to do that. But that's a team. Washington's a team that's going to be really fun. Like it's a lot of. I think a lot of players will want to go to Washington because of the potential there, and because the rest of that division's pretty poopy. So, it is what it is. And then they announce the Hall of Fame, right? So, Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson, a.k.a. Megatron, and more are all going into the Hall of Fame. Now, the cool part about this, last year, I was supposed to go with my dad to see the 2020 class, Bill Cowher, Troy Polamalu, and others, and it got canceled because of COVID. So this year, the way they're doing it is they're doing it back-to-back. We're getting the 2020 class and the 2021 class. So when I go, I only get to see Bill Cowher, Troy Polamalu, etc. I get to see Peyton Manning, Charles Woodson, Calvin Johnson. So I'm pretty fucking hyped about that. We do have our first voicemail of the show. Of course, you can be involved in that each week. It's 815-556-9089. You can email us for the sports show, or text us, or leave a voicemail for the sports show or the gaming show, whatever you'd like. This one is from Elaine. I believe you guys will be able to hear it too. We're going to give it a shot. Hopefully you can. But it is about the Hall of Fame. So here's that.
Okay, first of all, I have never called a Google voicemail thing and had it ring, so I was just really freaked out for like a solid minute thinking that I was calling a real live person.
Listen, I don't know how to set it up like Josh did. Right?
Hi,
it is what it is.
It's Elaine. I just wanted to get your guys' opinion on if the NFL Football Hall of Fame will change their the qualifications for you to get into the Hall of Fame year-wise, like how many years out since you retire. Because honestly, what happened when the Garanca Bay Brady Mears won this weekend was pretty incredible, and definitely Brady deserves to just enter the Hall of Fame upon retirement, just right away. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. He says, I'm retired. They're like, here you go, you're in. So I just wanted to know your guys' thoughts on that. Okay, bye.
Bye. Thank you, Elaine, for leaving the voicemail. That's funny. I don't know if the NFL would actually change the 5-year requirement, right? I mean, yes, I understand Tom Brady is Tom Brady. We're going to get into just how damn good Tom Brady is. But Peyton Manning, obviously great. Charles Woodson, all these guys that got in, they would have also been in instantly. Will they lower it to less than 5, Pete? Or do you think they stay at 5?
No, I mean, I kind of like it at 5. Just because, I mean, the player retires, at that time, give them a few years or whatever, and then we talk about them again, when they're up for the Hall of Fame, and you kind of get to, like, go over their career and, like, reminisce and stuff. I kind of like that. That is a couple years, that you do have. I don't really see them changing it. I mean, I don't really have an issue with it. If it was something where it's like, 20 years down the road, or like, something could happen to the player because they're, obviously a lot older. But I mean, the 5-year thing, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And yeah, I think it gives you a chance to kind of, reflect on their, career that they do have, and then, kind of reminisce. And especially for, the guys that came in, for 2021, I mean, Manning and Woodson, it's so funny because like those two have been paired together ever since they got drafted. So it's just awesome that they get to come in on the same year. But no, I don't really have, really an issue with it.
David?
I'm going to say one player that probably screwed up this whole reason why you can't do anything less than 5 is Brett Favre. So he retired how many times and came back. That's the whole reason why, you need that buffer. Like, nah, you need to stay. Like, because technically Gronk retired for a whole year, came back. Marshawn Lynch retired for a whole year, came back. I mean, if you're going to lower it from 5, I could see it maybe going to 3, maybe 4, cut off a year or 2. But I think it's fine where it's at. Obviously, we all have those players. Like, we knew Manning was an instant Hall of Famer, right?
Right,
Obviously, Brady's an instant Hall of Famer. We're always going to have those people, right? It's just going to happen. But I think the cool down time is fine, right? Because they want to settle down, take a breather, take back. They don't want to go, like, after their football season, right? First thing they do next summer is Hall of Fame. So I like the breather, the little cool down. It may not need to be a full 5 years, but then you kind of remember what the person did 5 years later. So maybe 3. I think 3 to 5 is fine. If they were to lower it, at least a minimum of 3.
BK?
Lowering it down to 3 years, for example, because you do have a backlog now of all the really good wide receivers that haven't had a chance to get in, but that could just be endemic of the position and where you're completely relying on someone else to get you the ball. But I'm not against 3 years immediately in, especially for TB12. No, thank you. Sorry, he can wait. He can wait. He can get out of the news cycle for a little bit. Then he can get in, and then we can forget about him. And then we can
No one
on.
will ever forget about Tom Brady.
I will.
You should.
I hope to.
I will always remember him owning the Ravens.
Watch you come back as like a quarterback coach for the Ravens. So that would be the fucking best thing ever.
BK's like, fuck yeah. BK's like, hell yeah. I'm going to buy all the TB12 electrolytes, the hat.
Absolutely not. A quick note on Manning and Woodson. Woodson actually beat out Peyton Manning for the Heisman that year and was the last defensive player to do it. From U of Mich there at DB. Remember, my dad was really upset because he went to UT for grad school, and he was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So.
No, Mr. Kennerly can get over it. Woodson's a stud, so.
But I mean, the old six head has won 5 MVPs, so it's not like he's bad.
Right. True. Damn. Yeah,
it's literally like this. This is his. I got this. That's his forehead right there. That's his forehead.
It's probably gotten bigger since retirement. It's probably gotten bigger.
Dude, that poor guy when it comes to picking hat sizes, that has to suck
God.
so bad. Fuck.
I'm surprised he's wearing more top hats so he can like almost pull it down to cover up the forehead a little bit or something. I don't know.
Something. I also didn't know Peyton Manning had a kid.
I got Frank over here in chat saying Jay Cutler Hall of Fame.
Oh, dude, yeah, Jay Cuddy, get him in, baby. Let's do it.
Shot.
Mitch Trubisky got to be considered because he's the Nickelodeon player of the game, the MVP, Nickelodeon's most valuable player. So like, you got to do that. That's got to be considered. At this point, no,
I would like to see Nickelodeon's coverage of the Hall of Fame and just throwing in slime in there, like the slime the guys randomly win jacket on.
Oh, fuck that. Do that in real life, too.
He just really slapped him.
That's what
Holy
I'm
shit.
saying. I'm saying real fucking slime too. Like I would, yeah, oh yeah, no, dude, do that for Brady's first year in and just slime the fuck out of him.
Man, the Brady
But he's a
hate.
kid person. He'd probably be fucking all for it.
He does love kids. He also really loves
He does.
open
He's a
mouth
good
kissing
person.
his family. It
Yeah.
is what it is. But like, it's fine. It is what it is. I'm also under the impression that I would like to keep it at 5 years. Everybody's point. It gives you this time to breathe. It gives everybody a time to reflect. I actually think if you were to lower it, it takes away some of the mystique that is the Hall of Fame and this feeling of you've been retired for 5 years. Yes, Peyton Manning, obviously we knew it was an instant. Tom Brady's gonna be an instant. Charles Woodson's, the Calvin Johnsons, the Randy Mosses of the world, like Ray Lewis. Like we know they're going to instantly be in the Hall of Fame. But to have that 5 years for that player to kind of go away, and then they come back, and it's a really big celebration, I love that very, very much. Yeah, I guess like if you wanted to lower it, 3 would probably have to be the minimum. But I'm definitely cool with, like everybody else said, keeping it at 5. Keeping it at 5. Elaine, thank you for the voicemail. As always, guys, like I said, you can call and leave a voicemail or write in a text, and we'll get it read on the show. It's 815-556-9089. All right, let's get to Super Bowl Sunday. Let's do it. It was fantastic. Well, it wasn't fantastic. I'm sorry. I'm not going to say that's a lie. It's a lie. There's a lot of reasons I feel like that the Super Bowl was weird to me, right? Besides the fact that it was a blowout, but also the fact that like, COVID and like a lot of like, people like not doing big Super Bowl parties like we're used to and hanging out with a bunch of people and having a good time. It was really, everybody's kind of chilling. It is what it is. It was the lowest rating Super Bowl ever since 2000, or not ever, lowest rating since 2007, 96.4 million viewers. However, streaming was up like 69%. Nice. It was 5.7 million people streamed the game instead of watching it. So, not bad. $5.5 million is the average for a 30-second commercial spot. We got weird ones, so I guess we'll start here with that. David, do you have a favorite commercial from the Super Bowl?
Shit. I'm trying to remember now. Off top of my head, the first thing that came to my mind was the 3D Doritos are back.
Oh yeah.
That was the first thing that came to my mind when I saw that. I was like, wait, what? I used to love those things. I'm trying to think of another commercial. There was one. It was like a video game one, and they made fun of Juju, and I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
Oh, it's Verizon. Verizon.
Verizon 5G with Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck you, Juju," because I made fun of him. I was like, "Yeah, go back to playing like a video game," and he's like, "Okay," or whatever. It was hilarious.
I also loved that as well. Yeah, Samuel Jackson was animated. It was pretty good. BK, do you have a favorite commercial?
I do. It was 2 of them because it was Rocket Mortgage with Tracy Morgan, where it's like, no, maybe / possibly. He's like, no, for sure. That whole premise. I thought those were the best commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I honestly thought the commercials were just fucking weak sauce. Just dunk it up. So that was it. Just thank you, Tracy Morgan and Rocket Mortgage, for actually having good commercials and making the game. No, the game wasn't even enjoyable. Less of a shit show, but it was a shit show.
What about what was that? Was that oat milk or whatever? And the dude's just like screaming about oat milk or something, or singing. It's really weird. It's a really weird one.
He's just like in the middle of just a field. I was like, oh, I wonder if they filmed that like just a couple miles down the road from where I live. I was but. One thing to touch upon about the streaming is that like I'm pretty sure everyone in here, but I still wanted to ask, like, it was myself, my wife, my brother-in-law and his girlfriend. It was like just they came in just to kind of, he wanted to introduce us to his new girlfriend and everything like that. So they came in, but we streamed the game because I have YouTube TV. I'm assuming y'all streamed it, or did you guys watch on?
No,
satellite,
I had the CBS app. I specifically was like, okay, I got to get this trial because I need to watch the Super Bowl. And then the app, like right when the Super Bowl started, like shut down. Like at first I thought it was my Fire Stick, and then because the Fire Stick that they have is kind of old, my mom has kind of old. So then I switched to my Xbox. I put that on, and it was running just fine. I was like, dude, sweet. And then it went down. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then I switched back to the Fire Stick. Wasn't working. I checked my phone. It wasn't working. So CBS just having an issue in general. So then I had to go pull out Old Reliable that we used to watch the NFL games during the year. Wink, wink. And had that on for a little while, and then I eventually was able to switch back to CBS. But yeah, I streamed it. No matter what, I streamed it. Yeah. Pete, did you stream it?
Yeah, YouTube TV.
Stud.
Yeah, for mine.
Stud. David, I know you streamed it as well, correct, sir?
Yep, I use the NFL mobile app.
Nice.
So I have Verizon, so I get it for free.
See, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I thought streaming it was the best way, of course. Pete, your favorite commercial from the Super Bowl?
Didn't really have one. David brought up the go on the Doritos one. I'm kind of psyched about that. That was cool with the McConaughey like coming alive. In the vending machine. That was good. And then the Tracy Morgan one was good too. But honestly, it wasn't like anywhere like the next day you're like, oh, did you see that? Like Pepsi commercial. Did you see or like, did you see the Budweiser one? Like there weren't like really anyone like that.
They had the Bud Light.
It was terrible.
The Bud Night one where they brought back like all the legends.
It was supposed to be like Infinity War. Yeah, I actually really thought that kind of funny. It was kind of funny.
They could have did it better.
No.
Yes.
But it was okay. It was okay. I mean, it was better than some of the other commercials we saw.
I had
dog shit.
I had two. One that got me to pop was Drake from State Farm. I was like, dude, that's funny as fuck.
Okay.
I was like,
that was good.
Yeah,
this is great. And the second one, it wasn't a funny one, but like I have this weird like I get overly emotional at certain things, and it was the Anheuser-Busch one where they were showing everybody like going out and getting a beer together, and like I just had like a couple of tears come down because I was like, oh, this is so sad, but I'm like, this is so great. Because I really do, because I miss doing that with people, I guess was my biggest thing. So I was like, oh, that's cool. But I like that commercial. Yeah, the Rocket Mortgage ones are great. 3D Doritos is great. John Cena and the Mountain Dew one was really weird to me. Was it the Tracy Morgan one is the same one that Dave Bautista came out? And like, that's the same one, right? And then he's walking a little dog at the end. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, but I agree with everybody's testament that the commercials were weak. Like, it's just really, really weak, and I wasn't sure why. Maybe it was because of the price to get in at $5.5 million. A lot of companies are like, fuck you. We don't want to do that. We'll just advertise to people's phones anyway. Fuck it. We don't want to do that.
And they seem to do all pretty good. Lowest rate since 2007. So
yeah, they made a good call.
Why would you want to pay a high price for something like that? Then
100%. Real quick before we get into the game, I have two more questions I would like, or one more I would like to ask. BK, you said you had people over. So what is your go-to Super Bowl food?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Oh man. Yeah.
Like you're at a Super Bowl party and you're like, this has to be there.
Yeah. It's probably wings, and specifically bone-in wings. I'll talk about like what I've made. Like, so we made a buffalo chicken dip, we made a spin dip, and then I marinated some bone-in wings in Worcestershire and Old Bay sauce for about 30 hours.
Ooh.
And then I marinated some tendies, chicken tendies. So shout out to P2 there. Some Frank's Red Hot sauce, salt, pepper, and turmeric for about 30 hours. And so then the bone-in wings were put in the oven there about for 425 for about 20-25 minutes. And then the tendies, I actually like deep fried them in a pan and everything like that. They were fucking on point, son.
That a boy. I love it. Wings and tendies, baby. Woo! And buffalo chicken dip. That's always fire, bro. And even spinach dip, that's always good too, especially when you get the Hawaiian rolls. Oh man, damn, that shit's good. Whew. Pete, what is your go-to Super Bowl food?
Usually for me, it's pizza. It was not pizza this year. We did have some mac and cheese.
Nice.
We had Molly was able to make this cracked chicken, which was really good. We made that in the Instapot. That was super good. So we had well, it's funny, Ryan, you mentioned like the Hawaiian sliders. So we had like little sandwiches from there. And then we had some queso. That's really about it. It wasn't too much, but
it was enough.
But yeah, it was pretty good.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was enough. I felt very bloated. Well, I mean, the beers had something to do with it.
That's why you need Michelob
yeah.
Ultra, bro. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Help you.
Yeah.
I didn't think Ultra was owned by Anheuser-Busch. Did anyone know that? I had no idea.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
You
I'm
know
dumb.
where
It's
it'll
okay. I
get
can
you.
live with that.
There'll be ones that get you weirder. Will be you'll see certain beers and you won't know that's owned by Miller Coors. That will fuck you up. There's a lot of those that fucked me up. Like until I went on the brewery tour and I was like, what? I'm like, when the fuck did they buy this? And it's like, yeah, since like 19 whatever they had it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I didn't know. But yeah, Michelob Ultra is an Anheuser-Busch product. One of the very few Anheuser-Busch products I can do. One of the few. And it's a damn good one. David, your go-to Super Bowl food.
My go-to would be pizza and wings.
Classic.
Pretty standard. That's everyone. That's what I've always had. This year a little bit different. I just had a frozen pizza. It was just me by myself.
Oh,
So,
okay.
wasn't gonna order a pizza by myself. So
Where the fuck was
that's what I
Mike
just
at?
did. Mike was up in his room playing WoW, most likely.
Wow.
Wow.
What?
I do have Frank in the chat though for his Super Bowl commercial was the Wayne's World
True.
with Cardi B.
Oh yeah,
For the
yep,
Uber Eats.
yep, yeah. The Uber Eats one with Wayne's World. Yep, that was good too. Wayne's World, totally cool. That was good shit. Good shit.
Party on.
Yeah, party on. I also wings for me, but I love that BK was very specific that it's bone in because for whatever reason, when I'm at a Super Bowl party, yes, it is bone in for me. I love boneless wings. I have no problem with them. But for whatever reason, at like a Super Bowl party or anything like that, I love when the bone is in. I don't know why. It's just how it is. I don't know. But I do enjoy it, so that's really good. Always a big fan of buffalo chicken dip. Yeah. If I get that at there, I'm pretty fucking happy. Also, out here we have chicken chunks, and I do like if someone brings those as well. That's always pretty fucking sweet. It's just like a giant
right?
nugget, dude. It's like a giant fuck, but they're good. They're really good.
Okay.
I fucks with it hard. So yeah, that's always good too. Let's get into the game itself, right? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I will start this right now by clarifying this. Yes, as a child, I was a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan up until I graduated middle school. And then I full blown was like, you know what, I should just be a Bears fan. I should stick with the Bears. And that's what I decided to do. And boy, I probably was wrong, unfortunately. But so that was the text I was getting all day from my dad. He's like, man, you should have stuck with them. Like, this would have been crazy, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. I remember 2002, and I remember how cool it was. So it's cool. Pete, I'm going to start with you. Your overall, I guess, thoughts on the game and Tampa really taking Kansas City to Pound Town.
Well, it was pretty ugly. I mean, the game was very, very ugly. And, I mean, looking back on that game, we should have known what was going to happen initially. I mean, that front four for Tampa Bay just owned Kansas City.
Yep.
The amount of pressures that Mahomes had in that game was insane. I think he had like 25 or 26 pressures. No, that's not pass attempts. That's pressures. So that's insane to think about. And that's really what this game, like, really got bottled down to, was that. I mean, they couldn't protect Mahomes, and you weren't going to be able to run the ball against Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay, I mean, I think they were either number 1 or number 2 in the league in the run defense. So they already could stop the run, and their front four is getting after you. And Todd Bowles, I mean, is known for being a blitzing, defensive coordinator. He just got to play back and cover 2 shell all game. Yeah. That's all he had to do because the front four was just getting after him. So JPP, props to him. Unbelievable that he's undefeated in the playoffs. Like that's kind of weird to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And then Shaq Barrett, obviously he had a great game too. Vita Vea. I mean that front, and then their linebackers are just so phenomenal. With Devin White, Levante David, they can just fly. And there were a few times early in the game where the Chiefs were trying to go east to west, and I was like, no, that's not going to work against this defense. So that's what it really, came down to is they couldn't protect Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes tried to make a few great plays. I mean, the one throw that he made when it's like, completely flatlined out, that was remarkable. He was able to throw that 30 yards and then, hit. I don't even know if it was like Tyreek or McCole Hardman
like
right in the hand. Yeah, just like, okay, dude, like, come on, Jesus Christ. Did you see what your quarterback just did in that play? But, yeah, I mean, that's what it came down to. And, yeah, Brady made enough plays. I mean, it's not like he played fantastic, but he didn't have to. that defense
No.
balled out for Tampa Bay.
100%. David, your thoughts overall here on the Super Bowl?
Overall, I think it was a big letdown. And it's probably where the ratings maybe dipped. I don't know when those ratings get tracked, because obviously people probably had that shit turned off at halftime. Because there basically wasn't shit after that halftime, if you think about it. It was pretty boring in my opinion, right? That's not the type of games or Super Bowl that we like to watch. From watching the game and how it turned out, it was like watching a Thursday night football game, in my opinion. That's what it looked like, right? You had, because you always get like the shitty games on Thursday. You had one team just beat the shit out of another team, and you're like, all right, cool, right? And that's what it was, right? And yeah, Pete kind of mentioned we could have seen this coming, right? That whole offensive line's hurt, torn. They're all pro guard, left tackles fucking out. Like, we should have seen that. Both their tackles are basically out. There's no way that they were going to be able to stop this offensive line, or sorry, defensive line. We just thought maybe they had offensive weapons to where they could get some movement, some slant, some momentum, and Kansas City didn't do shit. And anytime Mahomes was running, he was running for his life. But he was getting the ball out, and then you have fucking dumbasses in the back can't catch the fucking ball. So, I mean, they catch two of them catch one of their fucking catches. You know, we have a touchdown here, and we maybe have a fucking game. You know, that's all we wanted. And it sucks that we didn't get a decent game, because, you know, that's kind of what we were all looking forward to. It kind of outshadowed the Brady versus Mahomes, because really Brady, in my opinion, Brady didn't really have to do shit. He threw a couple passes, and that was basically it for him. And it was just basically defense tormenting fucking Kansas City all day. Other than that, I just thought it was let down. I thought it was boring. The only reason why I watched it for the remaining, because I was still checking out sports bets and potentially hitting something. So that's the only reason why I tuned in. Sadly, I didn't hit anything though.
Damn,
Close.
That's even worse.
Yep.
Like, you watch the rest of that shit game.
I did hit one. The one thing I did hit was I bet that a sack would occur before a touchdown.
Oh,
I
nailed
won
it.
like $40 on that one. Yeah.
Nailed
So
it.
that $40 almost leveled out all the other bets that I was doing for $5 here and there. I came close. I needed, I fucked up on Fournette. I thought he was gonna have less receiving yards. I think it was like 30 or something, but he broke one.
Yeah,
I think that's right.
Yep.
I got messed up on that one, and I got messed up on another yardage one. I think, can't remember who it was. It was one of the wide receivers. I think it was who's the fourth guy that caught the Hail Mary from Green Bay? His over was like 20. Yeah, Miller. He didn't even have 20 yards receiving. I thought he would go over 20, because I thought maybe, you know, they would guard the bigger guys. You know, 20 yards, like fucking 2 first downs, you know? So he didn't
Yeah, he had
honestly,
zero.
I don't even think he had a catch. So
No, he didn't. He had one rush for -3 yards.
yeah, so he was -3 yards. So there was my 2 parlays that I could have won like 2-3 grand.
Gone. BK, your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I think I was joking with Colin and my brother-in-law, because he was like on he was cheering for Brady, and I was joking. I was like, oh, we'll just like turn the game off at halftime, just because, you know, prove that there is no God again. And Colin was like, no, we're not gonna finish the game. And I was like, I know, I'm just teasing. Gonna finish watching the Super Bowl. There's nothing else to really watch, and, you know, just was kind of holding out hope that the Chiefs could somehow come back. And watching this Super Bowl reminded me a lot of the Broncos Carolina Panthers Super Bowl from not too long ago, when you had DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller just in Cam Newton's grill the entire game, and Cam Newton was just under duress, just trying to huck it up. That's what this reminded me of. I mean, because P2 touched upon it. JPP had a heck of a game. Him and his freaking like lobster hand, like, props to that dude. Like, I mean, talk about like, he should have a hand in the comeback player of the year conversation.
A hand, oh man.
Shaq, and then Ndamukong Suh, who's been he's been pretty dominant throughout his career. He had a heck of a game, just like coming up the middle. Just that Bucks defense. What the fuck, man, they were just all over the place. Devin White and Levante David are just, man, they're a lot of fun to watch. Just running east and west, just holy crap! Like you saw the motions that Tyreek Hill was doing. It seemed like the Chiefs were kind of doing almost the same game plan they ran the week before, and the Bucs are just like, cool, like try, and it just did not work. And then it also didn't help that, look, when Travis Kelce's dropping balls too,
yikes!
It's not good. Patrick Mahomes is just under duress the whole game, and also like Peachy said, like it's not like TB12 played a great game because he didn't.
21 and 29, 3 touchdowns.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
Sure.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, yeah, but it's also like it's also a lot easier when we haven't even talked about
Of course.
the horrible,
Mhm.
horrible, 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 horrible. I think I said it 11 times because that's how many penalties the Chiefs got. It's bullshit. One-sided.
Now,
It reminded me of Arsenal out there just getting fucked by fucking phantom red cards and shit.
I'll say this about the Chiefs, right? I didn't know this until I was listening the other day after the Super Bowl. They are the second most penalized team since 2018. Only Jacksonville gets penalized more, but it was masked by the fact that offense is so good, you don't really pay attention to how many flags their defense is getting every game. No one does because it doesn't matter. And in this situation, you know what I mean? It mattered. Listen, I understand. There are some calls in this game that was like too much. I agreed to that. I thought the refs got way too involved in that first half. Like, let them play. Listen, what we saw out of that first 3 quarters of Tampa and Green Bay is what I should have saw this entire game. Let them play. Let them hand check. You know what I mean? Like, let them grab a little bit. It's the Super Bowl. Let's let it go.
A little slap and pickle.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, let it be like NBA with Jordan. He's pushing off everybody. That's all right. It's cool. It's cool. Just let it happen. And I just think that the refs got far too involved in that situation. But yeah, I mean, listen, Tampa's defense, unbelievable. And then it's so funny to me. My brother, Slap Nugget, he was sitting there and he's like, dude, I haven't heard about Gronk like all year. Like, I totally forgot he came back. I'm like, bro, I know he's kind of a down year. And then he just goes fucking off. Just completely shows up for the Super Bowl. What an absolute stud. Leonard Fournette, playoff Lenny, great game. He's gonna get paid. Ronald Jones Jr. He did really well too. The running game was great for Tampa. Tampa's Bay's offense really found it themselves later into the season, towards the end of the season, and it showed. They figured out what kind of game they wanted to play. Tom didn't have to go out there and like do New England Tom stuff. Like, he just didn't have to. The defense was so good, getting in Patrick Mahomes' face. And this is nothing against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick, what can you do when a dude's in your face the whole time? I want every Bears fan watching that to understand that's what Mahomes would have looked like as a Bear. Just like that.
Facts.
Just exactly like that.
I've been saying that all season. It didn't matter what quarterback.
No weapons, no offensive line, awful coaching. That's what Patrick Mahomes would have looked like. Just like that. If he was a Bear,
I agree.
His entire career.
So
now, Bears fans, we can let this go. Move the fuck on. It would have been like this 16 games a year.
That is a terrible take.
You think that why? It's the same situation. A bad line the whole time.
Why? Because he's facing the best front four in all of football. Like, that's why it's a terrible take. That's not how every game would have went for Patrick Mahomes. Also, he's got like his third string left tackle in, his second string.
But all the Bears' offensive line are third stringers.
He's got his backup right guard in.
That's the Bears' whole line.
Okay, but is the Bears' offensive line going to play the best front four in football?
No, I understand that. No,
in a row?
Okay, I get what you're saying. It's not going to be like that, but it consistently, like, if the Bears would have got Patrick Mahomes, you were not going to see what Patrick Mahomes has done in Kansas City, is my point. Like, you're just not going to see that. What he's doing in Kansas City has a lot to do with the weapons that he has, the great coaching of Andy Reid, and how they've been able to perform these last few years. I just want Bears fans to let the fuck go. That if you would have got Patrick Mahomes, you weren't going to get 50 touchdowns a year Patrick Mahomes. You just weren't. Because you are going to play a lot of good defenses at times. The Bears' offensive line is bad. Bears play in bad defenses all year, and they look bad. It is what it is. But my biggest thing here is that it's not Mahomes' fault. I don't blame Mahomes at all. Pete talked about him like laying flat out and getting the ball off to the end zone some fucking how. Dude is a stud. and it's just Kansas City looked weird. Like they just looked like a team that like just didn't have it at all. I wasn't expecting that. I expected Tampa Bay to play them hard. I believe right after the show Tuesday, BK left, and then the three of us were still here, and Pete instantly was like, we picked too many high scores. All those scores are way too high. And he goes, I don't feel good about that. I don't feel good about that at all. And David's like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a lot of high scoring. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And so as soon as the game was going, the first quarter, nothing happened. I was like, oh, my God. We fucked ourselves. we did this by thinking this game was going to be epic, and it just wasn't. It was such a letdown. I would have loved to
Tampa
just...
did their end.
Yeah, Tampa did. Tampa showed up. Kansas City, unfortunately, stayed on the plane, and they did not get it done. And a big thing, too, we talked about... I don't know if we talked about it on the show or right after the show last week, but that the offensive line of Kansas City was what was going to scare us, because the fact that Eric Fisher was out, and like, what was this going to be? Like, this is not going to be good for them. And at this point, Kansas City should have just probably kept getting their hair cut by that barber and just got COVID so they couldn't play, because that's what it felt like. I mean, my Lord, didn't even get in the end zone. And penalties aside, I mean, just the fact that how much they duressed Patrick Mahomes is what really made or break this game. If the score was closer, I think I definitely would have been even more upset with the officiating. But because Tampa is just rolled them, just absolutely steamrolled them, it's like, okay, this is pretty rough. And it just was, like everybody said, it's pretty boring. Also, shout out to Shady McCoy, back-to-back Super Bowl champ, didn't play a snap in either game. Fucking stud. Love it.
Tampa should have just put him in for one play at the end. Fuck it. Come on.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, that would have been pretty great too. And and another big thing too after the game with the officiating and Patrick Mahomes. Here's my thing. I like Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is a stud. He is going to be one of those once in a generation quarterbacks when it's all said and done. But boy, the people around him make me really not want to like him one bit. His fiance, wife, whatever she is, his brother, fuck him, his mom, Christ, like, just, my Lord, the bitching and moaning and all this stuff. And then his mom posts a picture with Mrs. Brady, and she's like, oh, she was so kind, such kind words. And like immediately before that, it's like, easy to win when the refs are in your pocket. And I'm just like, let it go. You lost. Your son had to run for almost 500 yards of scrambling because he was being chased so much by that Tampa Bay defense. They were able to rush 4. That's all they had to do was rush 4. No. Todd Bowles being able to only have to have his guys rush 4 must have just been sitting there licking his chops, knowing what was going to happen at that point. Tampa Bay coaching staff did a great job of orchestrating this and doing it well, and it's going to really create what does that mean for next season for Kansas City? Because if I'm a team within the division, like let's say the Los Angeles Chargers, who have the defensive players when healthy to hopefully be able to create some type of pressure like that, this has to be the mold, right? This is going to be the mold moving forward of how do we beat Kansas City? Well, you gotta make Mahomes under duress a lot and see how they can beat you. Obviously, Travis Kelce isn't going to drop passes all the time during the season, and Tyreek Hill is going to be, not what he was on the Super Bowl Sunday. I also really liked Antoine Winfield giving him the peace sign. I like that too. I was like, oh man, I dig this. This is good. So overall, yeah, he got the flag for it.
That was worth it.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
Game was over anyway, so it was worth it.
Yeah, 100%. And then also a big thing that no one really brought up, and I know Jim Nantz and Tony Romo didn't bring up towards the end of the game, but Andy Reid's son was involved in a car accident on Thursday before the Super Bowl. He admitted to having some drinks beforehand. He had a family. The 2 kids, I know, were in the hospital, I believe. The daughter, they said it was very serious injuries. And if you're going to say that didn't play an impact on Coach Reid, Andy Reid, and the rest of the team, you're probably lying to yourself. It definitely was huge. And at times, Andy Reid looked like completely out of it. Someone I listened to made a good point of, that was one of the first times I've ever seen Andy Reid not have a play cheat in front of his face. It usually always does. I understand Bieniemy is running the show, and Andy Reid probably just chimes in every once in a while, like if he doesn't like something. But unbelievable, honestly, what was transpiring there, and Kansas City just looked like a completely different team. We do know Mahomes is going to have surgery. He had a torn plantar plate. That sucks. It's pretty awful. I think Breeze also had
basically turf toe. If
Yeah.
anyone wants to know.
Yeah, so that's really shitty. But overall, moving forward, this is going to be interesting. This is Brady's 7th title. Good on him, I guess. Good on him. He
I
now
want to
has.
say it was his easiest title. At least from a Super Bowl perspective. The year leading up, probably not his easiest. But the Super Bowl, I think this has got to be his easiest Super Bowl.
It's probably, yeah, because
Yeah.
I can't really remember a lot of the
Definitely.
early ones. So
All his other ones were pretty close.
Yeah.
So this is his easiest
Yeah, I
one.
think so.
Yeah. No, this is the easiest one, I think, for sure. Yeah.
um,
And, like, I
I
mean,
will admit though,
I
his
know-
road to the Super Bowl is probably not that easy. But the Super
Yeah,
Bowl, is probably
no.
easy.
No, I don't think the road, was very easy. But no, going back to your point, Ryan, like talking about like the officiating and stuff. Like, I mean, I know that wasn't like a factor into it, but there were a couple big plays
Mhm.
that we should probably like at least talk about.
Yeah.
The Matthew interception.
Yep.
Definitely
Yep.
should have stand. I mean,
Yep.
the ball got tipped. Not sure why there was a holding. And then when Brady threw it right into the third row, and then they called pass interference.
Yep.
And they didn't call it catchable. That was a big thing. But I mean, Brady's been on great teams, and like, I mean, I get it that we can all talk about Tom Brady being the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, I get it. I mean, he's got 7 titles. No one's gonna touch that ever. Like, I mean, we can talk about Mahomes like possibly touching that. Since he's young in his career, no one's gonna touch that. It's such a team award to get that. He's been on such great teams.
Mhm.
I mean, think about it. The last 2 Super Bowls he's been in, he went up against. I know we have dissed Jared Goff in the past, but I mean that Rams offense at the time, with Sean McVay, was very explosive, and then this, Chiefs offense, obviously they had backup offensive linemen. His 2 defenses have given up 12 points in the last 2 Super Bowls. So like, I mean, it is the ultimate team sport. I mean, he's the ultimate leader, but and you do have to give him props. I hate doing it, but yeah, I mean, you got to respect it for Brady. You do. But
he is a great leader.
it is a team award.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And the way that this team, this Tampa Bay team, was able to turn the corner, because they had a really bad November. I mean, we were sitting here thinking like, geez, all right. Well, I mean, they might make the playoffs, but this is going to be kind of rough. And then Tampa just turned it on, specifically on the defensive end. Like, it just completely flipped. And that was hands down. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, it's probably Brady's easiest Super Bowl title from a Super Bowl perspective. Yeah, no doubt in my mind. That was pretty rough. Big thing, though, we talk about Brady being the GOAT. All right, listen, that's fine. I have no problem calling him the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks. I have zero issue with it. It's 7 championships. He's had record-breaking seasons at times. He's also done it a lot of times with nothing as well. Or the early years in New England, stuff like that. Like, there wasn't a ton of talent around him. He still got it done. He gets the most out of a little. I get it. That's great. However, when ESPN or Colin Cowherd on Fox Sports or Shannon and Skip, and they want to bring in other athletes and talk about Tom Brady being the greatest athlete, fuck you. Okay? Just politely fuck off. I don't want to hear it. Serena Williams won the Open when she was pregnant. But we're going to talk about Tom Brady being a better athlete than Serena Williams. We're going to talk about Tom Brady being a better athlete than Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, Cristiano Ronaldo. All these Messi. All these fantastic athletes who are great in their sport, but also transcend. Tom Brady is not there. Is he the greatest football player of all time? Sure. 100%. Dude's a stud. You know what I mean? I give it to him. But, my God, you're going to talk about being the greatest athlete of all time. The dude can't even run, for Christ's sakes. Jesus. I'm sorry. That really upsets me.
No, he's not even the GOAT. And like, I'll save that for like a separate podcast because as P2 knows and Ryan, that been working on that NFL QB comparison thing where I got that lined up. Tom Brady is like the Bill Russell of the NFL, and if people don't know, Bill Russell, famous Boston Celtics center, has more NBA championships than fingers. Has 11 NBA championships. 11. We have to put one on his dong. All right, that's big, all right. I don't want to hear this bullshit. Go, Tom Brady, greatest of all time. Suck my testicle. Fuck off. No, like like you said that it's a team sport. Team sport. Look at his squad this year. We were talking about that. Like how many Pro Bowlers / former Pro Bowlers were on that team? Like all right, so like Leonard Fournette, Pro Bowler, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski. All of those guys have made 2 or more Pro Bowls. I think Cameron Brace even made a Pro Bowl. We haven't even gone to the O line. Haven't even gone to the defensive side yet. That is just one side of the ball. Like I didn't even include LaShawn McCoy either. Like technically, because he did play earlier this year. Like I don't want to get too vapid on it, but like no, he's not the loaded. Team's absolutely loaded. Team's absolutely loaded. And so, and just with American sports more than European sports, we'll say, is there's usually more timeouts. Coaching is a lot more integral, I think, in American sports than the other ones because there's so many stoppages of play where it's like a chess match and everything like that, where it's constantly evolving, doing matchups and everything like that. And that's NFL to a certain degree, putting in the right packages. Putting guys in motion, putting in guys in positions that they're going to succeed. Yes, Tom Brady might be one of the smartest guys. Yeah, I'll give him that. But suck a nut. Nope.
I wonder if this is all Tom Brady hate because that's what it feels like. But I'll save that for a different.
How is it hate? Are you serious?
How is he not the GOAT?
He had the greatest coach of all time as his coach. Okay. Yeah. Like arguably, that's an ultimate team sport. You look at those teams that he was on, his defenses were like all top 10. Like all of them. Maybe even top 5. Like those teams are loaded. Like he is okay. That's the perfect comparison what BK said. Bill Russell, definitely the most winningest player ever, in the NBA. That's what Brady is. He wins games. I get that, but I don't know. I mean, you put I just don't think that we should just be oh, he's greatest of all time because he has the most rings. I just think that's just irrelevant. I just feel like that's irrelevant.
Is that what we do with Michael Jordan to an extent because he has more rings than LeBron?
No.
You don't think so? Because I think that LeBron's better than Michael in every category almost, except winning championships. You know what I mean?
No, it's not a better shooter.
You don't think he's a better shooter?
No.
He's definitely improved it a lot. He's better. I think he's a better defensive player. I think he's a better facilitator than Michael. I think it's pretty close.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely better facilitator. I will agree, up and down, better facilitator, but no, better taking it to the rack. Yes,
I'm just looking at this. Tom Brady, second in passing yards for a career. Tom Brady, number 1 passing touchdowns for his career. Just curious. Something to chew on there. I don't know.
Do you want to put Aaron Rodgers will finish with more passing touchdowns than Tom Brady?
I hope he does because I have no problem putting Aaron Rodgers in the top conversation when it's all said and done. However, is it going to matter if he only has 1 ring? I don't know. That's something we'll have to get into on a separate show.
I mean, that's such a team thing. Oh,
you're right. God. I understand that it is a team thing, but also that such a team thing. I'm just saying Tom also has great stats to go with it. It's not like Tom Brady is Joe fucking Flacco or Rex Grossman or Colin Kaepernick getting carried into the fucking. But I'm just saying. So I mean, it feels like to me like Tom. I think a lot of it is that we've been calling Tom the GOAT. Tom has been called the GOAT for so long that people are just exasperated with it. That's what it is. Because he's been getting called the GOAT for a hot minute now. And I think it's the same problem that people have with LeBron, is that LeBron, we just want to crown LeBron so quickly that everybody got fucking tired of it. Fuck him. Fuck him. Michael Jordan's the shit. Fuck him. And I have no problem with that. I understand that. Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. But I do think that it comes down to being over-exasperated as well. We're we don't want to hear it. I want to talk about forehead guy. or whatever. He's the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Well, if we want to talk about Brady, I mean, look at Brady last year or even the year before that. I mean, if we look at Brady now with a supporting cast that he has on offense, a great offensive line, and weapons all around him, yeah, he doesn't have to do much. He doesn't. I mean, you just look. I mean, okay, Ryan, you can bring up his numbers that he had in the Super Bowl. You watch that game. How open are those receivers?
100%.
Like, I mean, and he's got all day to throw. I mean, it's a little dump off pass to Fournette, a little dump off to Gronk. I mean, like it's not like it's hard. I mean, that's just my point. Like that, there's so many other variables that go into it.
At one point, Gronk had like for tight ends like the best ever touchdown to game ratio for tight ends ever that's been seen in the game. Yes, like a part of that definitely like. A lot of that is Tom Brady, but then also at the same time, a lot of that is just Gronk because he's just an absolute freak of nature. And are we forgetting that like Tom Brady also had like Randy and Wes Welker, like Randy Moss wasn't in his prime now. Wes Welker definitely does, and then he also had this is good. Aaron Hernandez was actually was good at football. We cannot deny that. Aaron Hernandez was good at football.
Right.
Like. I'm going to cut us off because we'll go on tonight.
Yep.
We'll save it for another podcast, everyone, and it will be much more. It'll probably be 10 times worse than this. So just fucking buckle up.
Right.
I
know.
That Brady won rings. Some came with controversy.
Sure.
So.
Sure.
True.
That'll also go against Belichick too.
I'm just reading what Chat said, not me.
I know. He also said once Ronaldo comes to the U.S., no one will talk about Brady. No one will talk about Ronaldo either, Frank, because Americans don't care about soccer as much. That's the problem. There's that too.
It's up on Saturday mornings, just like with our Irish coffees, just getting burnt at 8 in the morning watching soccer.
There it is. There it is. Junior's like, where's the pitch? Take me to the pitch, BK. Let's fucking go. I want to recap our season predictions, though, because some of them were super, super shitty. So the AFC East, Pete and David took the New England Patriots. BK and myself.
Oh, were we wrong?
Took the Buffalo Bills. So high five to us, BK. Way to go.
I think I picked Buffalo to be a wild card. I don't remember.
I don't know. Doesn't matter to me.
That.
Didn't pick a division though.
You may.
I don't have wild cards on here, so that's why I don't know. AFC North.
Next year.
We should. AFC North. Pete, BK, and David all took the Baltimore Ravens. I took the Pittsburgh Steelers. So kudos.
Yeah, I took a shit like on that one, just like someone else
props
did.
to you. Props to you.
Thank you, sir. AFC South, Pete and myself took the Texans. Yikes. David took the Colts, almost. And BK, you took the Titans, sir. There you go. Way to get it, BK. There you go. Everybody got the AFC West right, guys. Way to go. We all took the Chiefs.
Soccer.
Fuck yeah. There we go. But then again, on the flip side, we all got the NFC East wrong because we took the Cowboys.
Hey.
I think everybody got the NFC East.
Oof. NFC North, Pete and BK, you got it right. But taking the Green Bay Packers. David took the Vikings, and I took the Lions. We were both wrong. The NFC South, BK, David, and myself took the Saints. We were correct. Pete took the Buccaneers, which some would argue mattered more in the end anyway. The NFC West. Some would. NFC West. BK, myself, and David took the Seattle Seahawks. Pete took the San Francisco 49ers. To your credit, you didn't know the whole fucking team was going to be hurt from week 1 on. So.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I'll give you that. MVPs. No one got it right. BK took Lamar Jackson. Pete and David took Patrick Mahomes, and I took Christian McCaffrey.
I would like to know what was the what would have been like if I betted on Aaron Rodgers winning the MVP. What was that line in Vegas?
I
know he wasn't up there.
It would have been a decent amount of money at the beginning of the year. I think he was down.
Yeah.
It would have been a good amount.
The down year, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've been curious to see that.
AFC champs. BK took the Baltimore Ravens. As a homer, he was wrong. That's okay. The rest of us here, we took the Kansas City Chiefs. We were correct. NFC champs. BK, myself, David, we took the New Orleans Saints, and we were wrong. Pete, you took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you were correct. You were the only one to have a correct Super Bowl. But you just missed it at the end, my friend. The Super Bowl predictions, I took the Saints. Nope. BK took the Ravens. Nope. And Pete and David took the Chiefs. No. So if I'm tallying these up, with 6 points in a tie for first place is BK and myself. Way to go. Way to go, man. Nailed it. Then we've got Pete and David tied at 4 points. So, consistency, boys. Consistency was key.
Oh, so if we're doing this next time, I'm not fucking around and be like, you know what? No, I'm just going to be right on picks.
Right
oh,
on.
yeah. Research starts tomorrow.
Research starts tomorrow. All the teams that have made moves yet, fucking, I gotta be invested.
Don't matter.
I picked the Vikings because we were supposed to all pick a different team in the North, and then someone fucked that up and not pick the Bears. And now I'm gonna be like, nah, fuck it, picking the Packers.
I wouldn't have wanted anybody to take the Bears. I think I almost did. I switched it to the Lions, and fuck, I got it worse. Didn't think that was gonna happen. Fuck me, that was rough. I was all in.
I'm not gonna pick so many games when I've already been drinking since like 8 that morning, and Ryan just texts me at like 11, and I'm already sloshed, and he's like, "Who are you picking for football?" I'm like,
oh yeah, true. That one weekend you were off for your bachelor's party, I'm like, this is gonna be a rough fucking week for BK. This is gonna be tough.
A few times. There's quite a few this year.
I do want to give a shout out to Josh Barlow there from On Tap Sports. He won the weekly pick'em with 63 points. I came in second with 62. David with 63. Pete with 60. BK with 54, and Dan rounding it out with 52 because Dan forgets to type in his picks. So there it is. I was doing really well and texting you, Dan, to remind you, but then I realized I'm not your dad. So you have to do it yourself. You have to do it yourself. It's the same why if you notice, his name wasn't in the 2020 predictions because he never put it in. So shout out to you, Dan, if you're listening, buddy. Hats off to you. Go ahead.
He actually listens next time. We're gonna have to grill him. That's interesting.
Yeah. He never
He
does.
actually listens to this one.
Yeah. Otherwise, if he could have just made his picks, BK definitely would have stayed in last the whole time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the whole time. And Dan's just like, fuck it, I don't want him to take last, bro. I'm gonna help him out. Before we move on to early odds, I do want to ask.
Grenade.
I want to ask, and I'll start with you, BK. What was your thoughts on the halftime show at the weekend?
Wasn't watching it, so I was cleaning up from all the food that we made, and we had finished it. So I was being an adult, cleaning up the kitchen,
What a nice
getting
guy.
the dishwasher started, and let it. Yeah, so I didn't watch any of it.
Pete?
I thought it was good. It's tough, I think, for him to have a performance like that, and it's like you got to be socially distant because I feel like the crowd, is like a huge thing, especially for the Super Bowl halftime. So like, I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. I think he was catching some flack there on social media, but especially with the him looking around thing. But no, I thought it was fine. It was nothing spectacular, but I don't think it was terrible either.
Right. I do agree with that. David, your thoughts on the weekend?
I don't think it was horrible. I was kind of doing the same thing like BK. I was actually I was preheating my oven from my pizza in there. That's usually what you do at halftime, right? So, but I didn't really miss much of that game. I probably could have cooked that in fucking the second quarter and probably been fine. But still, the performance was okay. It wasn't the best performance, but it also wasn't like the worst performance. It was all right. I knew some of the songs, and the performance were okay, and then how they were all wearing the mask to try to mimic his little bandage thing that he had at the Grammys, I think it was last year or whatever. So cool, I guess. But if you don't really follow the week and you're like, why the fuck are these people wearing like
100%.
fucking jock straps on their face?
That's exactly the words my mom used.
So-
It looks like they're wearing jock straps on their face.
It's like that's what it looks like, right? But if you don't understand the concept, you're like, oh, that's why they're wearing that. Okay, cool.
Oh.
But a lot of probably like more than probably 75% of the fans are gonna be like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
So that was my best term, is the jock strap, and it's funny that your mom actually said that because that's actually what it looks like.
Yep, right away. She's like, they're out there. She's like, wow, it looks like they're wearing jock straps. She doesn't sound like that. I don't know why I said it like that, but that's what she said. They're wearing jock straps. Yeah, I thought it was all right. I mean, listen, I fucking love J-Lo and Shakira, man. All right? That was the shit. That was great. I am such a big Shakira fan that I was just like, let's fucking go. Like, if there's one person I love more than Britney Spears, it's Shakira. So that's different. All right?
Yeah,
it was a vibe.
Them hips don't lie.
No, they never have, and they
Them
never
hips
will.
don't lie.
Never
And
have.
gym
they never-
shorts don't lie either.
That's
Gym
right,
shorts
Pete.
Do not lie
Gym
either.
shorts don't fucking lie, Pete. Oh shit! But I thought the halftime was all right. I thought it was cool. Like, I like a lot of the weekend songs. I was vibing with it.
Oh, he's great.
But there's only so much you can do. So it was pretty cool. Also, we did do last week predictions, like, on different things you can gamble on for the show. The color of Gatorade, nobody got that right. The first touchdown scorer was Gronkowski. BK, shout out to you. You got that right. I actually bet on that one and hit it, so thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I was vibing to that. I was like, let's go. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, thank God. We also had the final score. Nobody got that right. Woo, that was rough. MVP, none of us got right, but the winner, I was the only one that took Tampa Bay. Well, and Josh, he took Tampa Bay as well, so we got that right. Too. It's funny, he waited up until Sunday to tell me. He's like, I'll tell you at halftime, and I was like, what? I was like, oh. I'm like, well, I already made mine. I made mine on the show on Tuesday, and he's like, oh, all right, well, yeah, I'm taking Tampa, and I'm like, fuck, because I'm like, I can't win now. I'm like, it's either gonna be him or David, son of a bitch. I was
The
pissed.
only reason why I want the opposite.
Of
and
course.
I should have took my own advice the following week when it was against Green Bay that I went against the GOAT.
Right.
And, fuck me. I wasn't supposed to go against him. And
Happens.
obviously,
I've
what happens.
gambled many a times against Brady, and I've lost many a money because of that. So this time I was not. I was like, I won't do it. I'll let Mahomes be the one that beats me, and he didn't beat me this time.
It was the offensive line that beat you.
Yep, it sure was. It was the offensive line and receivers not being able to catch fucking the ball. That would beat him this time. God damn. Anything else here before we wrap this shindig up on the Super Bowl, the NFL season as a whole? No. Well, alrighty then. Everybody, thank you for listening. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. It's at AMNationPod. On YouTube, search Amalgamation Nation. Make sure you hit that sub button. If you're listening on podcast platforms of choice, thank you so much. It's on Spotify, Google, Apple, etc. I forgot to say this in the beginning, but there's also merch, of course. It's teesprings.com/store/AMNation-Undead Red Bull. If you're listening on podcast platforms, it's right below in the description. If you want to find it on Twitter, it's our pinned tweet right there at AMNationPod. Or if you're watching on twitch.tv/Undead Red Bull, it's down below in his description as well. Want to be a part of the show? Leave a voicemail or text the show at 815-556-9089. Leave your name or nickname, whatever you'd like to be called, and let us know your questions. We got Tuesday sports shows, Thursday is the gaming shows, and Sundays are Weebisodes, so let us know. As always, twitch.tv/Undead Red Bull is where you find us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as our Twitter and our YouTube page. While you're on twitch.tv/Undead Red Bull, make sure you follow David and give him a sub as well. If you have Amazon Prime, you do get a free sub a month, so give it to Undead Red Bull. Everybody, thank you so much. It was a great NFL season. I don't know what we're going to talk about week to week. Now, apparently, Brady not being the GOAT's going to be one of those things, but we'll get into that. As always, everybody, wear your mask, be safe, free Britney.